Hey, welcome back to Dad Space. It's Dave, your resident dad. I hope you're doing well. We are getting super close to a very special day for me personally, so I wanted to jump on here and tell you all about it. And maybe celebrate with you, because, I don't know, you're my friend, and we're buddies and stuff. So, hey, hope you're doing good. Hope everything's going well. It's autumn here in North America. Here in Canada, we're starting to see the leaves change. Fall is upon us. Autumn is here. Love when seasons change. If you live in a part of the world where seasons don't change, I'm a little jealous. If it's warm. I'm not jealous if it's cold all the time. You can have that. I'm fine. But we're here on Dad Space. We're talking about something happening for me personally. October 2nd is a big day for me. Why is that, Dave? Well, it is my wedding anniversary every October 2nd. It's funny how that happens. Every October 2nd, it's my anniversary. This year, 2024, it's going to be 31 years with my wife, Jen. I've been married to my wife longer and have known her longer than I have not known her. That was a weird revelation that happened last night. We're like, oh, wow. Like, most of my life has been with my wife, Jen. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool that, we get to celebrate. We still like each other. We can still tolerate being in the room with each other, which is a good thing, right? And it's fun. So if you have been married for any length of time, it takes a lot of work to stay in a relationship with somebody, to get past the things that you saw as a minor inconvenience when you were dating, which become quite larger when you end up living with somebody long term. You know what I'm talking about. There's things that you thought were cute or little quirks about somebody that get magnified over time. And I'm sure my wife could come on here and give you a list of all the things that she would love to see me work on. I'm sure that's another podcast all on its own. Maybe I'll have Jen come on Dad Space in the future and you can hear from her directly around our relationship as husband and wife. But from my perspective, I've lucked out. I have probably the best partner in life. Yes, we have moments where she shakes her head and goes, what did I sign up for? But for the most part, the majority of time, we have a great relationship together, and it's fun to have somebody that you can joke around with, you can be serious with, someone who supports you in the down times, somebody who really has your back, and you just know they do. We recently went for a trip out to Calgary to go to a podcasting conference, and for anybody who's not a podcaster, you're like, Snorville, Jen is not a podcaster, really. She'll podcast with me at request, but she doesn't have her own show and she's not really into the podcasting space the way I am. So for her, she came with me, and there were times where she has totally checked out of the conversation because she's like, I don't even know why I'm here. But we did have a chance to go to Banff, Alberta, which is the mountains in Alberta, Canada. And that was so cool to go and stand in front of a wall of rock and look up and see. Just amazing. We saw wild horses running along the highway. We saw lots of amazing, great things. We went to a Cajun restaurant in Banff, and I had alligator for the first time. I'm not a very adventurous eater by any means. I'm kind of vanilla in the food that I like, and I did it. I had something I would never order on my own. But we got to have some fun and laugh and reconnect and be together, away from family, away from all the stuff that happens at home, stresses and all those things. And we got to be together. So I wanted to share just a few things that I've kind of been working through as I build a relationship with my wife, Jen, over the long period of time that we've been together, that maybe could help you if you're an early dad, and a new father, a new parent, a new spouse. Maybe a few thoughts for you, the younger dad, younger than I, who have just been married recently, that could help you build over time towards maybe that 31-year mark that I've been talking about. to encourage you on your journey as a parent, as a husband, as a partner, as a father. But in relationship with your partner, how can you build that strong base, that strong foundation? Because I think that's one thing that we can all do better, is figuring out how we can do these things in a unique way that builds strength over time. One thing my wife and I did about 10 years into our marriage, we live here in Ontario, Canada. We went to Toronto, the big city of Toronto, as people would say here, the TO, the 416, all those things. We went to Toronto and we stayed at what was then known as the Sky Dome, which is now whatever now, but it's where the Blue Jays play. It's a domed arena, and you can go and you can watch the Blue Jays, right? And the dome retracts and stuff. It's really cool. But they also have hotel rooms actually in the building that look over the field, so you can watch the game from your suite, which is kind of interesting. So we stayed in the Sky Dome, called the Sky Dome at the time, and then we were there for the weekend, and we were celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We did a lot of Toronto stuff. We did Second City. We saw stand-up there. We did Tony and Tina's wedding, which is like a improv immersive experience, which was awesome. That was so much fun. That was in Toronto. We went to Wayne Gretzky Restaurant. Anybody who likes hockey in Canada, you know what I'm talking about. We went on a thing. There's a TV channel here in Canada, here in Toronto, and they have what they call Speaker's Corner. And they don't have it now to the same degree and whatever, but you could go in. It's like a telephone booth with a video camera. You could drop in some change and record any video you want. And then they had a TV show where they would play back your clip that you recorded in this booth, and they would play it on TV. And they would be like this recap of the week. It was really cool because a lot of people would come on, talk about politics or music or stuff. People like Mike Myers, Austin Powers. Mike Myers would go on there. The Bare Naked Ladies, the band, would go on there and perform in this little tiny booth. A lot of famous people would make it a point to go to that location, sit in the same booth on the same bench we did as husband and wife, Jen and I, and record video. What's funny is we just went in kind of a spur of the moment, walked in, sat down, dropped our money in. We had no concept of what we were going to talk about, but we just did it anyway. We just jumped in there and recorded something off the cuff. And my wife didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know what she was going to say. And there's like a countdown clock that while you're recording, and then it ends. So you have to kind of like figure it all out in the moment. So we jumped in there and hit record, and we didn't really think much of it. Maybe they'll play it on the show. They don't play everything, but then maybe they will. So we gave some relationship advice after 10 years of marriage. And that was 21 years ago. And they played it on the show. People would like reach out to us and go, Dave, Jen, we just saw you on TV. But not only did they play it once, they played it multiple times. And we ended up on a best of list. Best moments on Speaker's Corner as the top moments. We were one of the top moments. So we kept getting replayed over and over and over. And I'll put a link to the actual best of and stuff where you can see our clip and see a very young Dave and Jen on Speaker's Corner. And we gave some advice around marriage and how to have a long marital relationship. And so here is the audio clip of it. Again, a link in the show notes if you want to watch the video with a timestamp for our little part. But I just wanted to share with you, here's our thoughts at 10 years into our marriage about how we can have a better marriage. And now, 31 years into it, we're kind of watching that video and smiling, going, yep, that was us, the 10-year mark. Not a lot has changed. But here's our feedback at the 10-year mark around how to have a good marriage.
We're here actually on our 10-year wedding anniversary. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we thought we'd share some advice on how to be married for 10 years. People are asking us how we do it. And here's our advice. Number one, I would say, make sure that you laugh a lot.
Good communication's good. Talking.
Yes.
Yes.
To each other is always good. I would say opening the car door for your wife is also very nice.
Bonus points for that.
Don't watch the other person pee.
No.
That's not good. It's a mystery thing. You just don't want to go there.
Don't go there. No.
What else? Have lots of kids. We have 3.
Yes.
McMillan, Hadley, and Sawyer, and they're
Yes.
all cool.
They're awesome.
So obviously there's some things in there that haven't changed. For the most part, nothing there has changed. We did actually get to shout out our kids, which was cool. And it's kind of nice to know that we have this moment of us being on television and being our 15 minutes of fame, which gets repeated, I guess, often. And it's fun to look back on that and go, wow, the stuff we didn't know when we were 10 years into our marriage, right? The stuff that we couldn't anticipate, the challenges that would be coming ahead for us, the loss of our parents. Jen's mom is still with us, which is awesome, but I've lost my parents. Jen's lost her dad. Our kids have grown. We've had lessons thrown at us. We've had challenges thrown at us, disappointments, some great victories. We've been beaten up a lot in our marriage by external things. We've had people come at us. We've had people support us. We've had basically everything you can think of. Financial problems we've had that we didn't know we would have at that 10-year mark, where now we are able to give back to our family and prepare for their future. Like, we've had some really challenging times in our marriage, but the two of us are still smiling together. We're still holding hands. We're still respecting and loving each other and finding time for each other. We're still valuing each other and our relationship. Somebody told me before I got married that there's basically 3 components to your relationship. There's your side, there's your partner's side, and then there's the marriage. There's the relationship itself. All 3 of those components are required. Think of a little stool that you would sit on or stand on. A good stool has more than 2 legs. A 2-legged stool is pretty precarious in that I wouldn't want to climb up on one and try to change a light bulb, because 2 legs, there's not going to be a lot of support. That 3rd leg actually gives you more support than 2. So it's not just you and your partner in life. It's you, your partner, and the relationship. That relationship piece requires work, time, effort, nurturing. It requires hard choices. It requires sacrifice. All of those things come into play in a relationship. And I think if we only focus on myself and my partner's relationship, and I ignore the relationship as a 3rd component, that I'm losing some of the strength and stability. So I'm challenging you as to how much time do you spend on the relationship? Not just on you, not just on them, but the relationship, that 3rd leg of your stool. I think that's really important. And I think it's something you should probably invest some time in and have a conversation with your partner about, is how can we make our relationship as strong as our love for each other? And how can we grow this thing so that it equally supports the weight of our relationship? That's something to think about. And I really think that's something that doesn't get talked about often. So there's you, there's your partner, and there's the relationship itself. How do these 3 components fit together to strengthen your relationship? What can you do to strengthen that? Think about it. You got some homework to do. But here's some thoughts about growing your relationship and having a strong foundation for your relationship as you grow, whether you've been married for a week or 31 years or longer. How can you make this relationship solid and strong? A foundation is key to everything that we build upon. Your house, your finances, and everything. You need a strong base to build upon. And that's what we're going to talk about here on the show. So here's some of my thoughts around how we can build upon our relationship for the long term. Here we go. Okay, so I'll leave some links for where I pulled all the information from today's episode in the show notes if you want to follow through and do more research and more reading on your own. But some really great resources around this topic and that I wanted to share with you. And I'm going to try to break it down into 3 basic categories that I think can help us in our relationship. We're going to talk about prioritizing open communication. We're going to talk about engaging in shared activities. And number 3, fostering emotional intelligence. All 3 of these components, we're going to break them down, expand on them a little bit as well to talk about how we can build that base. So first, I think we need to prioritize open communication in our relationship with our partner. For us in our marriage over the last 31 years with Jen and I, having effective communication has been the cornerstone of a healthy marriage for us. And I think dads can enhance their relationship with their partner simply by setting aside time and dedicating meaningful time to each day to discuss feelings, experiences, and concerns with your partner. And this could be during dinner or a quiet moment after the kids have gone to bed, but setting aside dedicated time to interact with your partner. I think that's really important. And we need to do more of that. I need to do more of that. Also, active listening. Instead of simply waiting for your turn to speak, and this is something I've learned through podcasting, don't just wait to just listen for the chance and opportunity for you to jump in and give your rebuttal or talk over or fix it. Focus on truly understanding your partner's perspective and acknowledge their feelings and validate their experiences. I know when Jen comes home from work, she loves to dump on all her day, and this person said this, and this person didn't show up, and this happened, and this happened. And she's just trying to deconstruct her day as a way of unwinding. So I become her venting partner, and she can just let me know, because I don't work at her company. I don't know these people, and it gives her a chance just to unload. And for me, that's something I can do. I can definitely be there. I can put my phone down, get off of TikTok, and I can listen to my wife deconstruct her day for me. It helps her unwind. It helps her to relax and helps her to reset her focus on home time and get out of her work mode. So that's what I can do for her, is active listening. As well, we need to express appreciation for each other. Regularly expressing gratitude for our partner's efforts, whether it's big or small, it fosters a real positive atmosphere and reinforces emotional bonds between us and our partner. When's the last time, whether again you've been married for a week or 31 years, when's the last time you just said, I really appreciate you. I really love how you do this. I love how you think about this. I love your approach. I love how you are better than me in this situation. I have a lot to learn from you. Tell me that you saying those words to your partner does not make them stop completely and look at you like, what did you just say? Right? That's a moment where you are prioritizing your open communication. Takes effort, takes time, and you need to work on this, and you need to create space for this. Our world's busy. We're getting inundated with stuff all the time. We have the kids, we have our relationship, we have work, we have things, we have social media, television, we have all this input. So when you can prioritize open communication in your relationship, I think it creates the foundation for a strong and healthy communication between you and your partner, and a strong foundation for your relationship. Create open communication together with your partner. One of the things I'd really encourage. If I could go back on Speaker's Corner, I would tell you people to do that. Prioritize open communication. Number 2 is engage in shared activities. Spending quality time together helps maintain connection and intimacy. And I think that we as dads can strengthen our marriages by engaging in more activities with our partner. So let's go back to this podcasting conference for a second. Remember, I said that Jen's not really into podcasting the way I am. And so her going on this trip with me, we got a 4-hour flight from Hamilton to Calgary and a 4-hour flight back. We have a lot of time together on the plane. She had to have the window seat, which is great, no problem. But going to this podcasting conference was her being generous to me. She really did not care about much of what was said or done in this conference. 2 days of all podcasting, and she's kind of a little bit eye rolling, like, why am I here? But when we got there, the first day we had time. We couldn't even check her into our room, and we were there early in the morning, and we couldn't get in till the afternoon. So we went for dinner or breakfast. We went and had something to eat, and then we're like looking at each other like, what are we going to do? We're in a new city. We have no car. We have nowhere to go. What do we do? And she said, well, there is an arm of my business that is in Calgary that I work with over the phone and email, and I would love to go there to this place and meet these people that I talk to all the time and get a tour of the place. And for me, I have zero interest in that because I don't work there and I don't know any of these people. But I'm like, you know what? You're right. Let's do something fun for you on day one of being here in Calgary. Let's do something fun for you. So she called up, she got in touch with the people who work at that location in Calgary and said, do you mind if I come and do a little visit? They stopped what they were doing, and the big boss of that place invited us in and gave us a tour, and Jen was able to nerd out about her favorite thing about work and meeting these people face to face, and she was just loving this. She was in her element and enjoying it completely. And I love that we could create that moment together. This podcast conference was not all about me. And for her to have that engagement piece where she could show me what she's good at and what she loves, that's the give and take in a relationship. We could have easily said, no, it's expensive, it's out of the way, it's going to take money to get there and time, and I don't see any value to it myself. At the same time, she did the same for me. She went to a conference with me that she has really no interest in, doesn't give her value, and she's only there for me. I wanted to be only there for her. So creating a shared activity and realizing that someone's being bored with whatever, is time for you to take your step back and value your partner. So that's what happened in real time in Calgary when we went to that place. Again, I walked around a warehouse and saw boxes on shelves. I don't know what's going on, but to my wife, it was heaven because she got to talk to people that she really likes working with in person. Like, how great is that? So engage in shared activities. So some things you can do as a partner with your spouse. How about scheduling date nights? Again, hard to do. You got to put some effort into it, but try this. Make it a habit to go out or engage in activities together, even if it's a simple walk around your neighborhood or going to the movies or doing something at home. Regular date nights help rekindle the romance and provide opportunities to reconnect. That's something that we can all do. As well, collaborate on a project together. Work on a home project or a hobby together. My wife and I just renovated a property together, which we spent a lot of time and money on this, but we did it together, and that's great. Collaborate on a project. This not only allows you to build a teamwork between yourself and your relationship, but also helps you create shared memories that can deepen your bond. Do a project together. What is it? What can you do? And as well, parent together. Actively participate in parenting duties as a team. Don't designate tasks to each other separate, but do things together as parents in your home. This shared responsibility can enhance your partnership and demonstrate mutual support for each other because you're doing it together. Engage in shared activities is a great way to build that bond. Going back to Speaker's Corner, I would definitely tell everyone listening in that moment, if I could go back in time, do more things together in shared activities. The third part of all this, and it's kind of a stool, right? Three legs to my comments here on this episode, is to foster emotional intelligence. What does this even mean? So I have some ways that we can do this, but what is it? What's emotional intelligence, and how do we foster it in our relationship? Developing emotional intelligence is crucial for understanding and supporting each other effectively, and we as dads can improve emotional connection simply by accepting influence. Be open to your partner's opinions and feelings. This shows respect and fosters collaboration in making decisions together, which is vital for a healthy relationship. You as a dad don't have to have all the answers. You can have questions. You can say, I don't know what to do in this situation, and be okay with that. You do not have to be the king of answers in your home. You don't need to claim that title. It's okay to say, I don't know. It is fine to do that. And the sooner you can learn how to say those words, the better. Also, emotional intelligence and fostering it helps with having empathy in conflict. During disagreements, we need to strive to understand our partner's viewpoint rather than simply defending our own stance. We need to approach conflict with a mindset of compromise and collaboration. We need to put empathy back into any type of conflict that we have with our partner. We need to understand and see the world through their eyes, not just our own. And then lastly, we need to also create space for emotional check-ins. Regularly ask how your partner is feeling about various aspects of life, including the relationship itself. And this is a proactive approach that can prevent misunderstanding and can build trust. Silence is a killer in a relationship. So create emotional check-ins. Put them on a calendar, put them in as a reminder. Do something to bring that to the forefront of your memory that I need to check in with my partner and see how they're doing in the moment. And do it often. By implementing these strategies, dads can cultivate stronger relationships with their partners and ensure long-term stability and happiness in their marriage. So, if I could go back to Speaker's Corner and put in my money and sit on that bench, which is long gone, they don't have that anymore. But if I could, I would say, with 31 years of experience in marriage, that my advice to you would be to prioritize open communication, engage in shared activities, and foster emotional intelligence. Those are three things that I think could strengthen your relationship and help you go beyond where you are today to a healthier relationship. Have we reached the finish line in our relationship? Is everything perfect? No, not at all. By no means am I saying that I and my wife Jen have figured it all out. She has a list. There is no way that I can stand here in front of you on a podcast and go, I've got it all figured out. Look at me. I'm perfect. I'm going to write a book about it now. Nope. I am just at the beginning, 31 years in. I am a baby, just an infant in this relationship. There's so much to learn and grow. And the beautiful thing about this is my wife is like a mirror. She shows me for who I am. And even though there's things that are ugly about what I am and who I am and how I react or maybe even overreact in life, she still sticks with me. For some reason, she still sticks with me. And that's the most amazing thing. So if you haven't found that partner in life yet, or maybe you're on the search for that person, find somebody who makes you better than who you are. Don't settle for somebody that you lower your standards to, but find somebody who makes you a better person. Find someone who challenges you, and find somebody who makes you go, I could do better. I could do better. I could be better. I have opportunities to grow. And that person should also reinforce the fact that you can be better by showing you love, respect, should communicate with you, and should have your best interest at heart. That's the foundation of a great relationship and marriage. And people will catch on to your relationship. They will see it. They will talk about it behind your back. They'll see the difference in you just by you living these three things out. So, how long have you been married? What have you learned? And what are you learning today? I would love to hear it. dadspace.ca, you can reach out. You can leave me a voice message. You can send me an email. I'd love to hear, how are you growing in your relationship with your partner? What's different? How have you changed? How long have you been together? I'd love to hear. Go over to dadspace.ca, leave me a message today. I'd love to hear from you. And for those celebrating an anniversary in the month of October, hey, we're best buds. Congratulations in advance. And think about how you can do something special for your partner today, whether it's your anniversary or not. Create a moment, create a memory, and do something that honors them. Try it. I think you'll love the reaction and I'll love the response. Thanks for being here, everyone. And I'm going to go celebrate my anniversary. Got to go get some flowers. Take care. Keep being you. Keep doing your best. Take care. Hey, thanks for listening to Dad Space. Thanks for hanging out to the end of the podcast. That's a great sign to wherever you're listening to this podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, fill in the blank, that this was a good podcast to send people to. So simply by listening to this point of the podcast, you're helping the show grow. So good on you. Thanks for helping us grow Dad Space. If you want to help us fill our cups over at Dad Space, head over to dadspace.ca. Dadspace.ca, simple website, right? Dadspace.ca. You can fill up our coffee cup, which helps us then to keep moving forward with the podcast, and use our Buy Me a Coffee link over at dadspace.ca. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for coming back. And thank you for sharing. Because the more dads we can help, the better. We're all here to help each other grow in community. That's what it's all about. And without you, podcast is pointless. There's no reason to do any of this. So you being here means everything. See you at dadspace.ca. Take care.